Cancer, hello, welcome back to those of you that are subscribers or regular viewers. I appreciate you being here to share this weekly read with me. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions. Any of those that pertain to you, this could be your reading. It is a general reading, however, so it may not resonate with all of you. If it does, that's great, and I'd love to have some feedback. If it doesn't, it's just not your reading this week. You can check some of the older videos on the channel because I think that the messages there could be your message. I think we hear the messages we're meant to hear when we're meant to hear them. That's how I feel about things. That's what I sense from Spirit. So if there's something there, regardless of the date stamp on it, that you think may pertain to you, that feels right and seems to be your message, then it likely is. This is Crow Indigo Intuitive Tarot, and we're going to be doing 3 cards from the Crow Tarot by MJ Cullinane for you, Cancer. Let me show you the box. That's our deck for this week. Excuse me. And then we're going to pull 1 card from the Halloween Oracle by Stacey DeMarco, to get some further guidance from Spirit. Let's see what we have for Cancer this week. And I apologize if I cough. I think my throat is starting to get a little bit raspy all of a sudden. I was having some issues on a couple of other signs earlier, and then it cleared up. And now it's starting to be scratchy again. You have the 4 of Swords coming out first, followed by, excuse me, I know that's obnoxious and I apologize. I just don't want to pause the video every 10 seconds. 4 of Swords coming out first, followed by the Queen of Wands, and now we have the 2 of Swords. So there's a lot of intellectual energy here. I'm feeling this week, Cancer, there's a lot of thinking going on. You are resting. You're recuperating from an arduous situation that you've been dealing with recently, Cancer, probably of an intellectual sort is what I'm sensing here. I think there is a feeling here, what is it? You're building your strength back up. Whatever you've done recently was depleting, quite depleting, and you're rebuilding your strength here. The Queen of Wands energy is telling me that it took a lot of courage and determination for you to get through whatever you've gone through recently. I think it had a positive outcome. I do have there's a sense of joy in this card, in the Queen of Wands. These sunflowers sort of representing that. There's the sun and the sunflowers. There's a warm energy here of success and joy. But you're wiped out. So whatever it was, it took a lot out of you, but it did turn out well. And it looks like you had to make a difficult choice, possibly that you are going to, again, have to make more difficult choices in the future. But for right now, the important thing is to be resting and recuperating, getting your energy back, getting your mental acumen back to the sharpest state possible so that you are in a good space to make any future decisions. Let's take a look at the Halloween Oracle and see what further guidance Spirit may be having for us here. Let's see, Cancer. What does Spirit have to say? Any further guidance here for Cancer dealing with this situation. It's almost a sense that you've won the battle. The war, it hasn't ended, but it doesn't feel heavy. So there is a joyful feeling. There's a feeling of victory there in that Queen of Wands card coming out there. I think this 2 of Swords that follows is simply saying you aren't entirely done. Don't feel like there are no more decisions to be made. You've got this, though, so really don't worry. You just need to rest right now. Your card is Vampire. Show you the artwork if I can get it to focus. It's very glossy, these cards. Very glossy. There's a lot of reflection. You can see the camera reflecting. Emotional intelligence. That's your card. I'm going to look this up in the book and read to you what it says about the vampire. All right, let's find a spot that's a little less glary. Less glare. All right. Vampire, emotional intelligence. The deepest, the coldest, the craving of the blood, the whole never filled, the longing like a flood. Whilst there are almost uncountable examples of vampires in literature, movies, and games, how somehow the archetype of the blood-hunting, night-stalking, and somewhat elegant creature keeps being reinvented to seduce yet another generation. Although the beautiful and somewhat desirable vampire form doesn't really begin to enter the public consciousness until the mid-1800s, the idea of a human feeding upon the very stuff of life is very much older. The Egyptians, Sumerians, Indians, and the Balkan people all have mythos containing vampire-like creatures. The vampire is an interesting figure because it is both horrifying and desirable, having someone want us so much that the desire to be that closely linked with us does feel good until we realize there is nothing much left of us to give. Most of us have heard of the concept of emotional vampirism, the idea that people feed off our energy and our goodwill and take advantage of us through manipulation and their incessant neediness. Should the vampire card appear in your reading, it may indicate that you are being drained in this way, and the time has come for stronger boundaries. We need to be very aware of what gives us energy in our lives and what takes it away. We should be aware of needing people to need us and why we invite people like this into our homes, workplaces, and lives. If indeed we have them around us, developing the emotional intelligence within ourselves helps us defend against this kind of emotional or psychic attack, and enables us to foster healthy, equal relationships of all kinds. So is there something, perhaps, Cancer, about you being in need of rest that has to do with someone taking too much from you? Is there a situation with an emotional vampire in your life? I don't get the sense that you're the emotional vampire, but perhaps there's something in this card that speaks to you. I'd love to have your feedback if it's resonating for you as to how this all plays together. Thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. It is an honor. And thank you to all of you that have subscribed. We've just gone over the 100 subscriber mark, which is quite small compared to other channels, but for us it's pretty huge. For me, it's a lot more than I imagined, and it is wonderful to know that there are so many people getting the messages and that perhaps they're finding value and that the messages are speaking to you and being helpful in your journey along your life path. So thank you again. To those of you that have not subscribed yet, perhaps consider doing so. We'd love to have you be part of our tribe. Do post videos weekly and monthlies as well, and a little bit of this and that in between. So thank you for being here, Cancer. I hope you have a great week. Blessings.